Hello everybody and welcome to the channel Crossing Spiritual Streams. My name's Tandra and we are doing our one of our 2 weekly tarot pick-a-pile card readings, and today's topic is your past life or lives and how they might be affecting you now, or what might be going on in your life related to that. So we're going to take a look at what your past life was like, and one of them anyway, or maybe more than one depending on what comes through, and how that is either dictating or having an effect of some sort on how you're dealing with things now in this lifetime. So we're going to be looking at that. We have your tarot cards here. We're going to do our charms and also oracle spheres, so you can think of a yes or no question that you can get an answer to, and we will be doing that as well. We would like to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Also, if you'd like to check us out on Patreon, there is a link in the description. We are at Crossing the Spiritual Streams over there as well. And you can sign up for as little as $1 a month if you'd like. And that can give you access to some other pick-a-pile tarot readings and maybe some other exclusive content as we start growing. Also, we are still giving away free readings for the next several people that sign up for Patreon. So if you'd like to do that, that might be of value to you to do that as well. We also are just getting started on TikTok at Crossing the Spirit, and the link in the description is also down there for that. And we do some real short videos over there, so just to let you guys know that. We are also on Facebook. We don't post any videos or anything, but we do let you know when postings go up and things like that, or at least we're trying to start getting the habit of doing that. I'm not real good at it yet, but I'm working on it. All right, so we're going to have 3 piles here for you to choose from. We got pile 1 with the Hematite stone, pile 2 with the Carnelian stone, and pile 3 with the Citrine. So you best go with your gut instinct in deciding which pile or piles. You can watch more than one, because you probably have had more than one past life, so you can watch more than one pile if you'd like. Just depends on what your gut instinct's telling you to do. And we're going to give you some time to reflect, and when you're ready, there'll be timestamps in the description that will lead to each reading. So we'll see you there. Hello, pile 1. Welcome to your reading on your past life or lives and how it might be affecting your current life. You guys chose the Hematite stone here, so we'll move that over to the side, and let's get started and find out what we can. First of all, we have our past life card. Oh, Atlantis. Okay. That's really cool. These cards are really hard to see. They are so shiny. Okay. We've got the Fool card. The Page of Wands. Wow, that makes sense. Okay. The Star card. That does too. We have Oppression, or the 10 of Wands. We got the Princess of Pentacles. We got the Fool card again. Interesting. The 10 of Swords. The Hermit. And the Star card again. Wow. Okay. Well, what is coming through here, and what, kind of, wow, okay. It looks like you were part of the ancient civilization of Atlantis. And I believe you were probably part of it when it actually had its downfall, or sunk into the ocean, or whatever happened to it. And I think you were like an engineer, or it's really weird. I get the feeling that I don't know this for sure. I actually don't know a ton about Atlantis. I've not really studied up on it, and not a lot has come through in prior readings. But what I'm getting the feeling of is that the engineers, or the people who did the technology in Atlantis, were also spiritualists. Like, they utilized spiritual talents and so forth and use that along with technical skills and other things to advance the civilization. And I feel like you were one of those people. So you had some technical knowledge, you understood how to do some things and so forth, but you also had a lot of spiritual knowledge. You were connected a lot to spirit and the spirit realm. Now, what I'm getting from this life is you were kind of an important person. Um, that doesn't always come through in past lives. We weren't all important people. Sometimes we were just regular people going about doing our normal things. But in this case, I believe you were a pretty important person. And I think you had some ideas that you thought were pretty cool or pretty neat to advance the civilization. But I believe it was probably part of the downfall. There are some theories out there that I believe I've heard that Atlantis had some problems because people started moving too fast, too quick, or started meddling with things that they weren't ready for yet. And that's kind of what caused the downfall. And I kind of get that feeling that that is kind of where you were, where you kind of went full steam ahead. You were excited about what you were doing. You loved experimentation. You loved, doing things like that. And when you did, I believe at least one of your experiments went kind of bad and was probably part of, I don't think you were fully responsible. I believe it was a combination of many things, but I believe part of what you did was partly responsible for the downfall. Now that's a lot to carry on into this, new life that you're in now. And you could have had many lives in between, but that's a big responsibility. That's a big thing to have to be dealing with in this life. And I believe that that has caused you to be a lot more cautious in this life, a lot more reticent. You don't boldly go out there and put yourself out there without thinking it through first and so forth. I believe that's one of the consequences of this past life. Also, I do believe you're bringing forward into this life a really huge connection to spirit as well. That is something that I think you've carried forward throughout probably quite a few past lives, actually. And you might not actually be tapping into it any or doing much with it. I think you're kind of interested in spiritual stuff. That's probably why you watch the tarot readings and things like that. So you kind of dabble a little, but I believe you probably don't really delve into it for yourself, as in you doing these kind of things, like you doing tarot readings, or you possibly channeling spirit messages for people, or doing other things like that. I think you probably shy away from that or don't even think about it. That might be something you might think about doing, because it is a talent that you've carried forward, and it would be kind of a shame not to utilize it or do something with it. Now, I don't necessarily think that you have a huge amount of technical ability in this life from Atlantis. I do believe we carry knowledge from past lives, so you probably do know some technical things or can understand scientific things or do things like that, but it might not be a huge, it might be something that you might read about or you have some interest in, but I'm not sure that that's kind of where your life has gone. I don't think you've really, I think you kind of shied away from that profession or from going that route, and that's okay. I don't think it's necessarily your life's purpose in this particular realm right now anyway. But that might be, if you have interest in the sciences and with technology and things like that, you know where it's coming from. It is coming from there. But I don't think, like I said, that you really want to go forward and utilize that in your life now. I think the biggest thing that's affecting your life from Atlantis is that you're hesitant about putting yourself out there or about trying new, exciting, different things, or about stepping off the curb without really thinking it through, things like that. You're really not willing to leap into things. I think that's the biggest thing that's affecting you now. I think it's the biggest thing from Atlantis that is might be causing you some issues, by the way. Sometimes it's a good thing to be innovative, or jump into some things with both feet and see how exciting it can be. And sometimes, I mean, I'm not saying you should always just kind of rush out there and do whatever and not think about it first or anything like that. But sometimes we can be too cautious. Sometimes we can hold back too much. And I think that that might be maybe something that you might think about working on or doing something with in the future. That now that you know that that's something and why it's there, you might be able to work with that and maybe kind of once in a while take a risk. Once in a while do something different or unique, or leap out there. So that's what we're looking at there. Why don't we look at your charms? Let's see if there's anything else coming through or anything else that we might need to know. By the way, we have done other past life readings on the channel, so if this isn't resonating with you, or if you'd like to maybe, pop in and learn more about a different life, there are some other ones on the channel. I might try to go find them and put links in the description if I can do that for you guys. Okay, well, we don't have a lot here. We do have an 8. I do believe your work is important to you, and that is something you also carry forward from Atlantis. Your work was important there. You did do a lot of important things and work and so forth. So that is something that I think you've kind of carried forward. You also have the Star Kitty. So once again, that intuition, that relationship to spirit, that being able, you might be a really good astrologer. If you've not really thought about doing that, I think that that would be something that you would be really, really good at. The other thing that popped into my head was that you'd be a really good historian as well. That might be something of interest to you, or something that you dabble in or look at, but that might be something else. I'm not sure why that cropped up here necessarily with what we have, but that's what did, so we'll talk about it. All right. We also have the Ace of Hearts and the Jack of Hearts, which is kind of the Page of Cups. What I get from that is you kind of carry your heart on your sleeve, in that if you do something to hurt somebody by accident, it really hurts you deeply. I think that that might be a carryover from Atlantis as well, because you were very upset over, the people that are getting hurt and whatnot. And I think that's, kind of a carryover. You really care about other people's feelings and how you affect them and what you do with them. There's a story that comes to mind that makes me, think of the kind of thing that might happen to you. Years ago, my husband and I were on vacation, and we went somewhere with our daughter. She was a baby at the time. And we went to this restaurant, and we had ordered all kinds of food. We were really hungry. We were on vacation. We eaten all kinds of stuff, and the waitress was just outstanding, just absolutely wonderful. Nothing wrong with her. She was really, really, really great. And something happened. I don't know if we had to deal with, a dirty diaper, or, things spilling, or something happened that we ended up getting distracted, and we ended up leaving without leaving a tip. And we never do that. That's, now if we don't give her good service, we might not give you a very good tip, but we always leave some sort of tip. And in this case, she deserved a really, really good tip. And that has plagued us ever since, because we were out of town. It wasn't easy for us to go back to her, and get it to her once we realized we didn't leave something. And that's the kind of thing that I could see affecting you as well. That, you know, if you do something like that, even if it's inadvertent, even if it's not important or not a big deal, or even if it's something that you know, couldn't help, or, you know, whatever, it would still affect you. It would still be something you might think about years later. It's still something you might worry about, that kind of thing. So that's the energy that I'm getting here from that. I do think that you almost have you have really good communication skills. You've got the Gemini symbol here. That's really good for communication. That's You have a lot of good ideas come to your brain, but then they kind of go out again. You kind of don't do a lot with that. When, you know, things kind of run to you really quickly, you probably easily just shove it off and don't do a lot with it. This says be you bravely. That is really important for your reading, because it's okay to utilize the talents that you have. It's okay to work with things that are of interest to you. You're not necessarily going to do something bad or hurt somebody, or you know, have it be a failure or things like that. So it's okay to utilize your talents and do things with it. And that's something I'm not sure you've given yourself permission to do very much of. Okay? Let's take a look at your oracle spheres. We have 4 different stands here. We have bronze, blue, silver, and green. You think of a yes or no question that you'd like to get an answer to. You pick a stand that you like your answer on, and then we'll get your answers. All right, number 1, bronze, is a no. Number 2, blue, is a not likely. Number 3, silver, is a not now. And a number 4, green, is a not likely. So we have a no, a not likely, a not now, and a not likely. Interesting. Okay. So there's your oracle sphere answers for today's reading. Thank you so much for being here for the reading. Hopefully you had some insight and some information that was useful to you. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Share the channel with your friends and family. Leave us comments. All those things are super important to us. Don't forget to check us out on TikTok, Facebook, and Patreon. All the links are down in the description. And we'll see you again for future readings. May the stars guide your path. Bye-bye. Hello, Pile 2. Welcome to your reading on your past life or lives and how it might be affecting you now. You chose a Carnelian stone here, and we'll put it over here. And we're going to take a look at your past lives and see what's going on here. We have done other readings on past lives, so I might put the links to those in the description. So if this resonates with you and you want to maybe find out more about some other past lives, or if it doesn't resonate and you think maybe there might be something in one of those other videos, you can check those out as well. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, farm. Okay, let's see what others. These cards are so pretty, but they're so hard to see because they're just so shiny. All right, we got the 5 of Wands. We got the 9 of Wands. We got the 8 of Pentacles. We got material work, or the 3 of Coins. We have the Knight of Pentacles. This is interesting. I think I'm getting more than one past life coming through here. The King of Swords. The Emperor. The 2 of Pentacles. And the Page of Wands. Okay, I actually had a couple of different things come to mind here. First of all, as far as farm goes, I believe you were working on a farm or doing things on a farm way back quite a few hundred years ago. Probably, I'm kind of getting England or somewhere in that vicinity, but that's really what's coming through is England. And I even believe that you were just a regular farm worker. You might have been a peasant at the time, or a sharecropper, or whatever they might have had, depending on when you were there. But I believe that you were sent off to war. That a war cropped up during the time that you were a young man. Um, Not very old. It's weird. I'm getting. I'm wondering if you went back to the farm when you were older, because I'm seeing two different visions, and I don't know if it's two different lives or two different times, or I might have to work on that for a minute. But you have. I'm getting kind of a younger, like 18, 20-year old ish, and then I'm getting like a 40-year old ish. And both of them are related to the farm. But I am getting that you had to go off to war, that you were conscripted into a war. It wasn't necessarily something you wanted to do, but you had to fight for your landlord, or for your person that you were serving under. And I think there was like a lot of chaos, a lot of problem, but you came back from the war just fine. You didn't die in the war or anything like that. Um, and maybe that's where the old man's coming from. Maybe you went back to the farm and you just kept farming, um, into your older age until you passed. Um, so I'm not sure how the war affected you. I think you were proud of your service. I think you felt like you did what was needed and necessary, and you helped out your king, or your lord, or whoever it was that you. I think I'm almost thinking it was so far back. It was when there was lots of different kings over like certain lands, and then the kings would kind of fight each other. I'm almost thinking it's that far back, because that's kind of the energy I'm getting. But you really liked the adventure of the war, being able to see other things and all. You didn't like the fighting part, of course. Who does? But you felt proud of your service, and that it was worth doing, and you came back, still feeling very proud and good about what you did. That's one life that I'm getting. The other life, actually another one kind of snuck in here a little bit, in that I feel like you were an apprentice. I'm almost thinking um, like a printing apprentice, like doing printing work, um, or either that, or working for the church, being somebody that did copying of the written word. I feel somehow or another that's coming through. That you worked with writing, you worked with either printing up things or handwriting, copying, old text and books down, something like that. Um, but somehow printing was involved, and you worked very, very hard at it. It was your whole life that you didn't do pretty much. I don't even think you got married in that lifetime. You spent your time learning your trade and what you had to do, and then just you worked at it very, 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 very hard. Um, is what I'm getting from uh, that life. It's interesting that the two have come together in the same reading, because they're so different from each other. A farmer going off to war and going back to farming, and then somebody who's an apprentice and doing printing work. I'm wondering. I think they're kind of connected, and I'm gonna tell you how. I think the printing work that you were doing had something to do with promoting a cause. Could have been a war as well. That's possible. But it was promoting some sort of cause. It was promoting, letting people know why they should do a certain thing, or why they should believe a certain way, or why they should back a certain person, or something like that. It was that kind of printing. It was that kind of um, thing that you were doing. You're letting people know um, about something that maybe they didn't before. And it might have been something that would cause people to go to war, or cause people to fight for a cause or something. It's very possible. I'm almost seeing that's almost how they're connected together. Or you were at least explaining to them um, why it would be important maybe to go to war, because, to protect our land and so forth. That's kind of the energy that I'm getting here. So I think that's why both past lives came through together, even though they weren't related to each other. I think the homeland, the um, where your homestead is, you know, all of that I think has been very important to you in these two past lives. That, you know, protecting it, you know, doing what's right for it, things like that, I think have been very important to you in these past lives. And I do think that that might be coming through in this life as well. I think that you are an activist at heart, even if you haven't done much with it. I think you would actually enjoy putting out your thoughts and opinions on a blog or something like that. You know, communicating with people, putting out your ideas, letting them know why they should think certain ways, and so forth. I think is something that has carried through from these past lives, and that you could utilize in this life as well if you're not already. I do think that you do tend to want to work hard when you dig into something, when it's something that you think is important or something that you think is worth doing. You put a lot of energy into it. You work really hard to learn what you need to learn. You once you've learned what you learn, you put it to good use. You spend a lot of time doing it, things like that. So that's another characteristic I think has come through from these past lives, is that you know, really work hard at what you do, especially if you find it important or something that you should do. It is possible that you have or will join the military in this life, because you do find serving your country or your people important in some way. If you don't join the military, I could see you joining civil service in some way, working for the government in some way, or going into politics, and, you know, working with your ideas and thoughts that way. But somehow or another, doing something that feels important to you, something that you know, it's very important in your life that you do something worthwhile. Is what I'm getting from this past life. It's what is coming through from these that have come through, because you have gained that sense of doing what is right and what is useful and what is helpful. And so you're one of those people who wants to do what's right. You want to do important things. You want to have that kind of come through. You want your life to mean something. You want to do something important with it, and so forth. So that's what's coming through in those past lives. It's kind of interesting. You know, not used to, you know, two unrelated ones kind of coming through together like that, but that was kind of cool. Why don't we look at your charms, see if there's anything else we can find out about these lives, or anything else that might be going on, or advice for you in this life. Go for. Okay. We do have the money bag symbol, so I do find work is important to you, and we did talk about that. Work is very, you know, something you like to spend a lot of time doing. We do have the horseshoe. I find that interesting. I think you might be interested in horses or like horses a lot. That probably has to do with working on the farm the way you did, but I think that that is something that means something to you, or that you at least like horses a lot. Says do what you love. That's kind of important because, like I said, you want to do something that matters to you and that means something to you, and that's where that's coming through here very strongly. We also have the Ace of Wands and the King of Diamonds. It's also important to you to earn, either earn a little bit of money, or because of what you're doing is important, you would either rise up in status or have some money come your way, or some abundance, or some other things to make your life comfortable. And by doing what you love and what you find important and so forth, that should transpire for you. That should come about just as a natural cause of that. But that is something that's also kind of important to you. One of the things that we didn't talk about your past lives is I do think that you did raise in stature some from kind of lower beginnings, and I think that that's something that you would like to do even now, is raise your stature up some in society. And by getting your ideas out there and doing things that are important, that often will happen. So one kind of follows the other. We do have an let's see, is this an I or an L? Hold on. It's a T. Okay, we have a T and an S. Or an S and a T. Those could be initials. They might, a word might pop into your head when you see those. Something else might come forward to you there, so we'll let you do that. You do have a key here with a crown on it, or kind of a crown, or at least a cross, which is interesting because that kind of goes along with what we were talking about, in that one of the past lives that we was talking about with the writing, I do feel like might have been part of a religious order, or in some way dealing with that. And that's interesting that you have the key with the cross in it, because I think that the two have kind of, if you did work for a religious order, like I said, you found it very important and it was something you felt like you should do. And it's possible that you might be involved in a church or something else and you do a lot for them, or work really hard for their causes or things like that as well. That might have come through in this life as well. That's not necessarily for all of you, but that is something that did kind of come through, if that resonates. Also, communication. I think communication is very important to you. I think dealing with something in communication in some way. We did talk about that, but I do think that that is something that is important. I think that's why your life with the printing came through, because you have this communication. You have this need to communicate ideas and thoughts and things like that. And if you haven't already started doing so, I do feel like it's something you need to start working on, because I think it's this huge drive in your life. I think it's something that if you've been ignoring it or not really messing with it because maybe you're a little shy or a little afraid or whatever, I really feel like that's something that you would really like to do or do something with there. Okay, so just to let you know, let's go ahead and look at your oracle spheres. We have 4 different stands. We have bronze, blue, silver, and green. You decide which stand you'd like to get an answer on. You think of a yes or no type of question, and then we'll go get your answers. All right, number 1, bronze, is a no. Number 2, blue, is a not sure. And number 3, silver, is a very likely. And number 4, green, is a not sure. So you have a no, a not sure, a very likely, and a not sure. So there's your Oracle Sphere answers for today's reading. Thank you so much for being here and being part of the channel. We appreciate you guys greatly. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up, share the channel with your friends and family, and leave us comments in the comments section. Also, do check out our other videos on the channel. Like I said, I'm going to try to put the past life videos links in the description so you can go see those if you'd like. But we have a lot of other videos out there on lots of topics that are worth checking out. All right, we look forward to seeing you again, and may the stars guide your path. Bye-bye. Hello, Pile 3. Welcome to your reading on your past life or lives and how they're affecting you right now in your present life. And you guys chose the citrine here. I love citrine. It's so pretty. All right, so let's take a look and find out what we've got going on. We have done some past life readings in the past, and we will put some links in the description on that in case this video resonates and you want to check out some other past lives, or if this video doesn't resonate and you think maybe the others might. So we're going to go ahead and put those down there for you. All right. Oh, we got Egypt. All right. Let's take a look and see what else. I love these cards, but they're so hard to see. They're so bright and shiny. All right. We have the Page of Cups. We have the Hierophant. Wow, okay. Yeah, that feeling definitely came through strong. The Two of Pentacles. We have Valor, or the Seven of Wands. We have the Love card. We have the Ace of Cups. Oh, we have ruin, or the Ten of Spades. We got the Ten of Wands. It's interesting. We got the Shadow Side, or the Devil, and we've got the Three of Swords. Okay. Well, the first thing that came through was that you worked in a temple in Egypt. You were one of the temple people that helped keep the temples up, take care of the temples. You did some rituals, that kind of thing. I think you were a woman, so I don't know. I don't know a ton about how ancient Egypt worked as far as their temples go, but whatever a woman would have been responsible for doing in the temple or in a specific temple, I think is what you did. I don't know if, they had to light candles or I'm not exactly sure what their roles were, but that's what your role was. Now here's the thing though. I think you might have been in a role that wasn't supposed to get married or fall in love or be with somebody. I think you might have been part of some sort of order that was supposed to be celibate or chaste in some way. And I think you did fall in love. Okay. I think somebody came along that you really, really cared about and you fell in love, and that kind of led to a downfall because, of course, that wasn't accepted. That wasn't, you lost your station, your position. I even get the feeling like the person that you loved, even like, uh, you know, had something happen to them, like maybe they got killed or they had to go off, somewhere else, they got reassigned or something else. I even feel like maybe you weren't even with this person afterwards. Like your forbidden love, so to speak, basically ruined both of your lives in a lot of ways, I guess, but it ruined yours for sure. You never really recovered from it. You were ridiculed a lot from it. You had a broken heart because you weren't with them. It was really quite sad. Really, one of the feelings I'm getting here and what's coming through on this life, it was really kind of rough because you were very proud of what you did and what, was going on, but you really, really loved this person. There wasn't, you couldn't stop that. But unfortunately, you weren't able to be together and live a happily ever after kind of life. That's not what happened. And that's really important for you now because I think you're afraid to love now. I think you shy away from a lot of love relationships. If you start to feel something for somebody, I think you do things to sabotage it or back away from it, and things like that. So I think this really is affecting you in your life right now, this life, because it was such a huge deal at the time that it's carried through now to this life, and it's been very, very hard for you to stay in any kind of relationships or get involved in anything serious with somebody. However that's played out in your life so far, it's been very difficult for you to let yourself go and totally go with that. Now, here's what you need to know, though. It's really kind of sad when past life things like that affect us in this life when the situations are totally different. In that, in this life, if you cared for somebody or found somebody you truly cared for and were with them, it probably would not cause you to be totally ruined and, all of that. I mean, unless you got involved with, somebody not very good or something, but for the most part, generally being in love with somebody or falling in love with somebody and living your life with them would help enhance your life. It probably would not cause you a great amount of ruin or discomfort or heartache or other things like that. Most likely. Because of the age and the way we are now, it's not like well, you're not allowed to get married, and if you do, people will ridicule you forever or things like that. That's not as common now, and so it's really sad when these past lives affect us in such a way that we can't live with certain joys and happiness that we're allowed to have and that we should be able to experience. And so maybe now that you know where this comes from, maybe now that you know what's happening, you can maybe start opening yourself up a little bit more and realize that this isn't that life and that this is a totally different life and that you're allowed to love somebody and that you can enjoy a life with somebody that you love, that it's not necessarily something that you have to forego, and so forth. Or that you can maybe see your tendencies to sabotage such a thing and things like that. Okay, let's go on. Let's look at your charms and see if there's anything else we can find out about this life or what's going on with it. Okay. Wow, a lot of stuff here. Okay, we do have the 6. 6s are important for nurturing, for family, for serving people. And I think that that's something important for you to look at in this life, because I think that's something you've not let yourself do. You've not let yourself have that kind of feelings and relationships with people. We do have a follow your heart here. I think that's really important for you. Let your heart guide you. Don't try to stifle it and keep it from, going on and doing things. We do have a 5 of Wands that does denote change. That also denotes learning. And you can learn to change your thoughts on things and how you go about doing things, okay? We have a K, a U, and an X. Those might be initials. Those might, you might think of a certain word when you see those. Other things, I kind of let you guys do the letters a lot on your own and what you think about those. We have a go, see, and explore, and a lost and found. I really like that. It's good for you to go out in your life, explore, see what you can get, and also lost and found, because I feel like you've lost love and now it's time to go find it. And the go, see, explore, I think, goes along with that. So this all has to do with your love life. This all has to do with finding somebody to love, being with somebody to love. That's all wrapped up in this. We did have the sun and the moon here. That's that two coming together. That's the two parts of people coming together. And that's important for your life now, and so forth. We do have the seashell here. And it says summer, but to me that also deals with the sea, so it's emotions. Your emotions are very important here in dealing with those and working with those. Since that does say summer, when we think about the joy of summer, the warmth, the laughter, the everything that you can get out of summer, and think about that, because that's what you need to bring forth into your life, especially your love life, okay, and your emotions. That's where you need to go with that. We do have the pouncing kitty, which is great because, they jump on things. They live life to its fullest. They enjoy everything out there. We do have the fox as well. Foxes can sometimes mean deception or other things. A lot of times when I see foxes, I think of cunning or a lot of smarts, a lot of, going about things in a unique and unusual way. And so I think that that's something for you to think about there as well. And then we have the star and the moon. Once again, that's emotions, that's feelings, that's, your heart guiding you, things like that. Your feelings and your emotions guiding you and so forth. So let your emotions free. Let them out. Let them guide you. Let them help you. Don't bottle it all up all the time. Okay? Now let's go ahead and do your oracle spheres. You have 4 different stands. You have silver, bronze, blue, and green. You decide which stand you'd like to get your answer on, and you go and think of a yes or no question, and then you get your answers. So number 1, silver today. The answer is no. Number 2, bronze. The answer is not now. Number 3, blue. The answer is not sure. A lot of answers like that today. And the number 4 green was also not sure. So the not sures might mean that the question wasn't very clear, or that things have to be played out first before an answer can be known, because things might change up depending on what happens. So that's the way we like to interpret those. So there's your Oracles for answers for today's reading. Thank you so much for being here, and we hope you found out something important and useful in your life. If you would like to the video, please give it a thumbs up, share the channel with your friends and family, and leave us comments. We appreciate all of that. Also, do check us out over on Patreon at Crossing the Spiritual Streams, TikTok at Crossing the Spirit, and Facebook at Crossing the Spiritual Streams. And, check out our other videos on YouTube as well. So we look forward to seeing you again. And may the stars guide your path. Bye-bye.